resume the meeting.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are gonna move on to presentations. Our first presentation tonight is by 2024 Algonac Activity Report by St. Clair County Sheriff Matt King. Sheriff King?
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, sir.
Glad to be here. Sorry I missed that last meeting. I think the information was passed on. But I'm here now, so glad to be here. Hopefully everybody's had a good winter as we're getting our way through it. I have these stats, and I believe everybody on the board should have the stats for the year. And it looks like we've been busy. 5,079 calls for service total. Some of the highlights were 1,266 traffic stops. And I see assist public, property checks and school checks, 2,908. But all in all, the stats look like we've been very busy. I don't have any other things to report on, but I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions from council?
Comments. First, I like the fact that even though you had 450 extra stops, you actually issued about 50 less tickets. So that, to me, that's a positive thing. We're not out just to get people, but to stop and slow them down and all that.
Yeah, you know, like I said, there's three reasons for traffic stops, right? First of all, investigation. You know, oftentimes we see a vehicle that is doing something suspicious and they offer us an opportunity to stop and make contact with them. And then we further investigations that way. Number two is education, right? We want to educate people to follow the traffic laws so our community is safer. And then thirdly, and usually lastly, is if we need to issue a ticket because either there's a problem area that continues to be a problem area that warnings aren't working and we have to start enforcing, or individual perhaps demonstrates that they don't understand and they need a ticket, or perhaps a driving record situation, right? And deputies have discretion. I'm proud of the deputies down here to make good decisions, but that's a very good point. And we don't, you know, tickets are expensive. So if we can get our point across and educate and make our community safer without, you know, administering expensive tickets, that's the best for everybody involved.
Are you?
I was gonna ask,
go ahead.
do you think the road diet has caused people to slow down just a little bit?
Usually it does, you know, and I could talk to the deputies further on that, but, I would think so. You know, people realize, hey, there's less lanes here. It's usually a road diet means, hey, we're trying to have a more residential area, because of the commercial area, but showing that there's more foot traffic. Just seeing a road diet usually does slow people down, yes.
Juvenile matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not surprised that it's gone up a tad from last year.
Right, and that could be, you know, from people, I say people, from my deputies, getting the message, hey, let's make these contacts with these juveniles and get ahead of problems, educate them, create those relationships. So when they see the deputies, they don't run. And also, you know, juveniles will be juveniles, right? And they're gonna create some mischief, but, you know, if they start to create friendships or relationships, and Deputy Antilles here, he's great at that.
Yes.
They start to go like, hey, let's not do that, even if the deputy's not around, because I just, you know, I don't wanna have to talk to Deputy Antilles about this again, you know?
And, yes, now, and, because I have a 15-year-old, and, you know, this is my second run with teenagers, and a lot of tension with the kids over the summer.
Yeah.
And, I know my 15-year-old knows that, you know, he's mad. It seemed to get a little better, hopefully, I think, cause this was, when I looked at those numbers and I went, yeah, and hopefully that tension that was going on calms down a little bit, and I think it's going to, with the help of our fine deputy over here.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I-
it's gonna help.
I think so too, and I appreciate the credit, because our deputies do work very hard, and I know Deputy Antilles takes that part, you know, to heart. He's, you know, he's raised a family himself, he knows the importance of interacting with role model adults, but I gotta give some credit to the community and to the board too, for talking about it at a board meeting, for talking about it outside the board meetings, for saying, hey, let's find solutions, let's be involved. I don't wanna point fingers at other communities, but when communities don't get involved, those things get worse, right? But when children or teenagers see that the community is involved, you know, psychologically, they realize, hey, there's adults here that care. And that's what really will curb the real bad acts, right?
Right.
They're still gonna do their stuff and will intervene, but hopefully that adult interaction, that role model interaction, you know, board members, mayor and, city manager, and I know, you know, fire department and the sheriff's deputies, all being involved shows like, hey, these are all people who help try to improve our community, and they're talking to us because they care. If kids don't feel like they're cared for, they just find usually negative ways to fill their time. So it's a group effort. I mean, I know it's corny, takes a village and all, but it absolutely does. Especially nowadays when kids have so much ability to outreach on things that we can't see, like social media and phones, and even if you try to stay on top of it, boy, there's
Oh,
avenues
yes,
and ways.
yes,
and,
they can, yes.
So.
Well, and, you know, I know a bunch of these kids, and, it's a terrible thing to say, but fear is good. And sometimes they're afraid of me.
There's a level of fear and respect, right?
That's right,
So-
and they're good, you know, they get themselves in, it's, like I said, I haven't seen the attention with teenagers
Good.
like I did this year.
I'm glad
But,
to
you know, I'll mess around with a kid or two, you know, say, I'm watching you, dude. Then they go, she's crazy, stay away from her.
Anybody else, anyone else from council?
Just one more thing in the way that's anything else. I've asked you this I've asked the sheriff for about the last 12 years. Is there anything you need from us that we may not be giving you so that you can be successful at what you do?
I'll just say what I always say, more of the same, communication is key. You know, I come to a lot of events down here, our supervisors come down here, but let's just be honest, my office is a half hour away, right? So I have great relationships with people on the board. First time I think I'm meeting you, Ms. Meldrum. You know, I'll make sure you have my contact information. Please don't hesitate to contact me. And I know all the times you can get done, we need to get done by just talking to local deputy, but you know, communication's key. I have a great relationship with your city manager. You're lucky there, and just more of the same. Communication, approaching things as a team effort, and we get things done. And like you said, without writing a ton of tickets, without having to take kids to juvie, just being involved and getting ahead of it.
I have to say, you know, my own experiences with your office, especially recently, Deputy Dutko, we had an incident in my neighborhood, and she came out, and it was it was a personal type of, it was with one of my neighbors, but I watched her de-escalate the situation to a point, she worked with this person in such a wonderful, compassionate way. It was, you know, and I was super impressed that day, so I wanna say thank you to you and your team for everything you provide our city.
Well, it's good timing that you brought that up, and that perhaps I am here a little bit later than usual, because right now you may be experiencing different deputies here because we're fluctuating our schedule because of our in-service annual training. A lot of that is due to our training in MCOL standard, raising the bar for all law enforcement. We've done the in-service training for years, way before MCOLs had continuing education standards. But that's a big part of keeping at the cutting edge and learning new techniques and de-escalating. So anyway, it was an opportunity and a reminder for me to let you know, if you're seeing strange deputies here, it's because people are filling, so all the deputies can get to the annual training, which is at this time of the year.
See, I'm not gonna say strange how.
Oh.
And I'm not even gonna bust your chops about where were you at Show the Love, cause I didn't go chasing after you this
I know, and I
year, because
apologize, but I
busy.
was at another meeting, believe me, I wish it was somewhere fun.
Oh, next year you're not getting out of it.
You got it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all very much, appreciate it.
Next up is, presentation number B, letter B. 2024 Algonac School Teacher of the Year, Mackenzie McDonald, presented by Councilman Mike Bendis.
We like these.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And we'll face the crowd. And I have an Algonac Asset Award for Mackenzie McDowell for 2024 Teacher of the Year, Algonac Community Schools. The Teacher of the Year program honors outstanding educators who have exhibited creativity, enthusiasm, and a genuine desire to make a difference in the lives of their students. Mackenzie McDonald has been a third grade teacher at Algonquin Elementary School for 4 years, and she's moved to fourth grade this year. She was chosen as the 2024 Teacher of the Year for her tremendous dedication for the betterment of the students, for creating a supportive and all-inclusive classroom that provides for the well-being of her students, and for her commitment to the welfare of the school. Mackenzie has gone above and beyond with different professional development initiatives by taking the time to become certified in Kagan Cooperative Learning. This novel approach teaches teamwork and promotes 4 basic principles: positive interdependence, individual accountability, equal participation, and simultaneous interaction. She also made the time and commitment to become certified in letters, I assume that's what it's called, okay, acronym, a very intensive science of reading program. Ms. McDonald goes above and beyond in other ways too. She has been the Student Council Advisor for years. The Student Council includes all grade levels, and they work together to put on fun events, decorate the school, and come up with ideas for change. She participates in PTO events, recently co-chairing the daddy-daughter dance, and even finds time to tutor students after school hours. You stay busy.
Yeah.
She serves on the school's ELA committee, which drives decision-making and looks for ways for the school to improve reading instruction. She has proven herself as an instruction leader, and all teachers have much respect for her work and opinions. Mackenzie McDonald is an educator who goes above and beyond and provides a positive influence in the lives of her students. Algonquin and Algonac, so lucky to have Miss McDonald, and is a better place because of her. On behalf of the City of Algonac and the City Council, we present this Algonac Asset Award to Mackenzie McDonald. It is with great pride that we acknowledge her outstanding leadership and commitment to education, which earns you the 2024 Teacher of the Year at Algonac Community Schools. It is a well-deserved honor. We are grateful for your dedication to the betterment of all children, for your tremendous devotion to education. The support and attention you give to all students is truly an inspiration. Thank you for all you've done for the Algonac Community School District, the City of Algonac, and Clay Township. We're proud to call you one of our own. Signed by our Mayor, Gillis.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Come on, guys.
You're welcome.
Are those your kids?
No, those are my nephews. No, it's my brother, his wife, and my 2 nephews.
Yeah, we'll stand up.
Yeah, everybody.
Come on, guys, let's get your picture taken.
She needs to go that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all got this.
Oh, okay.
Don't rush it.
Stand down for me in front of you.
And I didn't need to like bring any things to.
I'm missing
Oh.
Dawn.
That's fine.
Alright, cheers everyone.
Cheese.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
You guys gonna take her out to dinner now?
Yep,
There
exactly.
you go. That's how it goes.
Where we going?
We have an
I think
exciting
the raft
presentation.
is where she said we were gonna go? Okay. Careful with the camera.
Yeah, watch out, don't knock that off.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks. What a guy.
All right, our next presentation, letter C, is Backyard Chickens presentation by City Manager Denise Gerstenberg. Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. So we have had requests here in Algonac over the years for backyard chickens. And recently we had Councilman Scarbeck ask that I provide the council with some additional information about possible chicken ordinances here in the city of Algonac. So, to start with an introduction, residents concerned about the economy, the environment, food safety, and animal welfare have asked Algonac to consider adopting ordinances allowing chickens. Per the American Pet Products Association, in 2018, 5.8 million U.S. households had backyard chickens. In 2025, that number had risen to 11 million. Chickens are now the third most popular pet in the country. Raising chickens is a commitment. You have to gather eggs every day, ensure plenty of food and water, clean the coop often, find someone to care for the chickens while you are away. It's not a short-term job. Hens can live from 8 to 10 years. Do chickens decrease property values? I could not find any evidence of that, but a chicken coop that is not maintained might. As a result, we would suggest that a building permit must be required. An electrical permit may be required for heated waters in the winter. A non-transferable license will be required every 2 years, and license inspections will be required every 2 years. The property that has chickens must comply with all the other codes and ordinances prior to issuance of any license or permit. Do chickens smell? Chickens are actually very clean animals that will keep their feathers tidy through dust baths. It's their droppings that smell. However, 6 hens generate less waste than one average-sized duck. Chicken manure can be used as garden fertilizer, but dog manure cannot be used in a garden because of the possible harmful parasites. A coop must always be kept clean. Do chickens attract rats? Chickens do not, but eggs and feed might if not stored properly. You have to keep your feed in airtight containers, remove any spilled or leftover food, serve food in dispensers to reduce waste, and clean and refresh the run regularly, and collect your eggs daily. Are chickens noisy? According to decibel levels of common noises, a parrot, a baby crying, a barking dog, the sound of car traffic, a lawnmower, and a vacuum cleaner are all louder than a hen. However, you can still require that coops be at least 10 feet from any neighboring residential structure. What about roosters? Most urban communities do not allow roosters. If you order baby chicks to raise, you can request no male birds, but sometimes one will accidentally slip through the cracks. If that is the case, as soon as you realize you have a rooster, you'll need to find him a new home. How many chickens should be allowed? Well, a good laying hen in season may produce around 6 eggs per week. A family of 4 may need between 4 and 6 chickens. Chickens are very social, and a minimum number at any time is 3 hens. There are 27 residential properties in Algonac over 1 acre that could be permitted more chickens. A suggested number of chickens for those larger parcels could be up to 12. Do chickens attract bugs? They do not attract bugs. They actually eat them. What about neighbor concerns? Certain neighbors, of course, are not going to like chickens. Some communities require written consent from every adjoining neighbor. 1 no means no license to have hens. So these are some considerations for a potential ordinance. A building permit must be required for the coop. An electrical permit may be required for heated waters in the winter. Issuing a non-transferable license required every 2 years, so that would mean that if you sell your house, the license does not automatically go to the new owner. The license will require inspections by building and code enforcement. The property must comply with all other codes and ordinances prior to issuance of any license or permit. For example, you couldn't have any outstanding blight issues at your home. A coop must be kept clean and may be subject to additional inspections if complaints are received. Require written consent from every adjoining neighbor. 1 no means no license to have hens. Chickens should not be allowed at rental homes or on vacant lots. No roosters allowed. Slaughtering of chickens on site will not be permitted. Coops should be at least 10 feet from any neighboring residential structure. Have strict requirements for chicken coops. The space required per chicken is minimum 3 square feet of indoor coop plus 10 square feet of enclosed outdoor run space. Part of the outdoor run should be covered. You need roosting space. 1 roosting space per bird, 24 inches off the ground. 2 nesting boxes for every 6 hens, and you need to protect the perimeter of the run from digging animals, and they encourage insulated floors, walls, and ceilings. Once again, there are 27 residential properties in Algonac over 1 acre that could be permitted to free-range chickens without a perimeter fence. Everyone else, a 4-foot chain link fence will not keep a chicken in a backyard. Anyone who wants to free-range chickens should install a 6-foot privacy fence or guarantee there will be no unsupervised free-ranging. And all of this may not even matter because the State Rep Jim DeSanta introduced legislation in the House on February 13th of 2025 to allow chicken coops on residential zone properties with an area of at least a 1/4 acre. 5 hens could be kept per 1/4 acre of lot size, up to 25 chickens total. This proposed legislation would prevent local ordinances from banning backyard chickens. It requires the Michigan Department of Agriculture to investigate any complaints and creates penalties for individuals who repeatedly file unverified complaints against neighbors with backyard chickens. And just as a disclaimer, I myself have had chickens for over 10 years, so I am very familiar with chicken keeping and the responsibilities that come with it. And with that, if anyone has any questions?
My only thing is, do you know where the proposal at the state is at this point?
Mrs. Gersberg?
Mayor Gillis, thank you, Councilman Bembas. It was just introduced February 13th, so brand new.
My only opinion would be, we would be jumping the gun if we took it further without waiting to see what the state did, because if we went and passed something and the state totally passes something totally different, we did a lot of running for no reason. Just my humble opinion. Let's see
Well,
how
I
it
would
plays
say
out
to
in the
that,
state.
Councilman Bevis, like, so what happens if it gets locked up in a house for 6 months? So we postpone it 6 months, if we're gonna wait that long to make a decision, how long do we cap it at? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
The congressional term, which I think ends in, if I remember right, October.
It's almost 6 months.
But to go through a lot of work and then have to throw it all out wouldn't make a lot of sense either. What about, are we gonna keep the neighbors who might not want it? So if a neighbor says, don't want it, don't like chickens and all that, is one neighbor gonna know which neighbor said no? And what kind of strife would that create in our community between neighbors?
Mrs. Gersberg?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Councilman Bembas, if you had 3 neighbors that had to sign off on the permission of chickens, we would not tell the person which neighbor said no.
Okay. Right, because we don't need that kind of strife either. And you're saying that if it's less than an acre, they'd have to put up a fence around their yard? Use a privacy fence? Is that what I heard? I think I heard it wrong.
So the ordinance could be crafted however that you want it to. I just know from personal experience that there's no way you're going to keep chickens in with a 4-foot chain link fence. So I would suggest that you have very strict coop requirements that would house X number of chickens, and the coop would be built based on the number of chickens that you intend to house. If you were going to free range chickens, you would have to have a privacy fence unless you're on an acreage parcel.
So maybe that's what I don't understand. What do you mean by, don't you let them out of the coop every day, or no, they stay in the coop?
I let my but I live on an acreage parcel, so my chickens in the winter are in a coop, but in the summertime, they go out during the day, and then they come back in their coop. You could do that on an acreage parcel, but if you have a 50 by 100 lot, there's no way you're gonna keep them on your property. You'd have to keep them in the coop unless you had a privacy fence or something to
People actually keep
contain
them
them.
locked up in a coop all the time.
Some people do, yeah.
Oh my
That's why you need a coop big enough that it's comfortable for the chicken.
Okay. City boy doesn't know. Yeah, okay, so we have some work to do, but, you know, I've expressed my opinion, and, you know, we'll take it from there. I think it's just prudent, rather than our city manager do a lot of work to wait and see what the state says, cause it could overrule anything we decide anyway.
I don't have a problem with getting something going and on the books before then, because we don't wanna get hammered with a bunch of people in 6 months, you know, we get this all down on the books now, then when it gets to a vote at state, then we're good.
And we can always follow what the state
Right.
has proposed
Well, you have
and
to.
make it stricter, yeah.
Right,
You
But
have
we can make
to.
it more strict than what the state's proposing.
right.
With like, say if a neighbor says no, just an example, and maybe we have an option, if one of your neighbors says no, you can put a privacy fence up, a 6-foot privacy fence, so your neighbors can't see them, and it not become a problem for the dogs, something like that, so there could be alternatives to all these situations.
Right.
That I think is worth looking into.
Yeah. Even though dogs might not see the chickens, I don't know about, I mean, different dogs are different. My dachshunds, which are hunters, would smell the chickens, even if you don't smell them, and they would bark like maniacs, because that's what dachshunds do. So even with a privacy fence, they would still bark like, because my dogs are maniacs.
Well, regardless, again, I'm not, opposing it, I just have a lot of questions too, because I live next to neighbors who have dogs, and if one neighbor gets the hens, then all I'm gonna hear is the barking of the dogs, even if it's a chain link fence to a privacy fence. But then the other thing I look at is our enforcement right now. Our enforcement list is 6 pages. If we start allowing hens, it's gonna make that list increase. I guarantee you, residents will be calling. So that's just gonna put more work onto our code enforcement, make our list even.
I do know too, in the post office for Clay Township, we get a lot of chickens through the mail, baby chicks. Man, they make a heck of a lot of noise. Do they stop making noise as they get older? Because it's like, oh my God, put them in the bathroom, can't you keep them in the bathroom of the post office, because we can't hear the customers.
That's over there, huh?
Yeah.
Mrs. Gerstenberg, do you have anything?
Yes, Mayor Gillis, yes, they do stop making noise, they do not, when they're little like that, they chirp constantly the entire time, and they're very loud. But when they're adults, they do not make that as much noise.
Okay. So, the other thing is, okay, so now you've gotten your neighbors around you to say yes. Okay, now the one neighbor moves and another neighbor moves in, do they have the right to come to the city and say, whoa, previous owner said yes, but I'm saying no?
I mean, I would look at that as grandfathered in. If I'm showing a house to a client, that client is well aware that they have chickens. And if you're buying that house, you're buying that house with the neighbors you already have existing. So I would say if you had that permit, I would call that grandfathered in, unless you had multiple neighbors at that point coming back.
For the 2 years, but after the 2 years is up,
Yeah,
I think you'd have to ask the neighbors again, that every 2 years when they have to re-sign up, are you still okay with the chickens?
I wouldn't, that's not, is that what you're proposing? What Mayor Gillis asked,
Mrs.
thank you.
Thank you, Mary Gillis, that was not what we were proposing, I don't know if that would be fair to someone, that every time your neighbor moved, that you had the chance of losing your chickens.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my thing, okay, so the neighbors agree now, this year, we're fine with chickens. But for whatever reason, the people raising the chickens are not doing what they're supposed to do. When they come up for the 2-year renewal, are you gonna ask the neighbors again? Because the neighbor might say, heck, I thought they were gonna do a good job, but, there's this, there's that, whatever, and chicken has gotten in my backyard 3 times, this and that. I don't wanna say yes anymore.
Well, then, I guess that goes back to what's the state gonna do?
No,
Well, that's why I
I
said it should be
mean, with the
tabled for the
state-
state.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not doing this now.
I don't,
No.
Yeah, we're just discussing.
but I don't wanna, I personally don't wanna wait to table it to the state, because
No, I don't either.
we had a bill, in that, House Bill that Jada Boyer introduced almost 2 years ago, and we've been waiting for it to get out of committee.
Oh.
So, these things, if somebody wants to hold something up at the state level, they hold it up. We are advocating for a bill that allows, we have a private road that wants us to be able to assess it, to redo the whole road. 100% of the residents want it, but the city doesn't have the mechanism. Jada Blair's office has introduced a bill, and still has been in committee for 2 years. So I don't think
Yeah.
I'd like to, at least if we're gonna say yes or no, I'd like to say yes or no.
I agree.
So, anyways, I don't think we have to make any decisions tonight, but
So what would be our next steps if we wanted to move forward?
Mrs. Gerstenberg.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Councilman Scarbeck, I believe if you wanted me to move forward, the next step would be to work with the city attorney to craft some type of ordinance for city council review.
And then there still would be 2 meetings before we even adopt the ordinance, so there'd be plenty of time for public input.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, speaking of public input, now it's time for public comments. You have 5 minutes to speak. Please state your name.
My name is Alex Small, live here in town. About the chickens, so I get the whole thing about roosters not being loud. They're really loud. I get it. They don't lay eggs, they don't produce anything except for more chickens, which we don't need a lot of them running around. My question is, if somebody were to have like a mobile coop instead of a foundation coop, would they still need a building permit? Because it's technically mobile.
Good question.
All of those would be taken into consideration as we're discussing this. Like, this is still up in the air right now.
Right.
So that's a good question that now that you've asked it,
Yeah.
we will get an answer before we even would go like that farther.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good point.
Good evening, Eileen Tesh. Just wanted you to know that I just did some research, and they now have chicken chain fence tubes. So it doesn't require any outside fencing, that the tubes, the chickens can run right from their place through the tubes. They're safe, they're protected from predators, and so just thought it was interesting. Okay, guess what I'm gonna talk about? Brownfield Redevelopment Act. So I see, based on our water bill, that you have notified the community that there is a special election on Tuesday, May 6th for the Algonac Community Schools. A proposal will be on the ballot for the Algonac Schools operating millage renewal. Voters may request absentee ballot, et cetera, okay? But as I came here last time and said, it is my humble opinion that you have a duty to notify the constituents, the residents, that this money, this millage, may be in jeopardy because of the Brownfield Redevelopment Act that you all passed at the last city council board. So this was a presentation at the county commission meeting, and it says, this plan that you voted for 24 years captures or borrows, or as some constituents have stated, steals millage money that the citizens have voted on for specific things like senior millages, libraries, parks, and many others, to fund infrastructure costs for a private housing development by Courtcat Properties in Algonac. This is a precedent-setting move in St. Clair County to override the free market and use the public's money against their voted wishes in a millage. Courtcat Properties developed the housing along Kearney Drive in St. Clair and many other properties without such assistance. Let's call this what it really is, an attempt to find another way to use public money to pick winners and losers by the government. It's wrong, disrespects the voters of St. Clair County, and I urge this board to vote against it. Well, obviously, the commission did, I don't even know if they voted against it, but they tabled it until the new board was seated. So, having said that again, I urge you, because it's going to be all over social media, so I just would suggest that you get ahead of it, to let the people know what in fact is gonna happen to the school millage. Also, I'm not, and to blame, or for me to, for social media, Mr. Scarbeck, I believe, I could be wrong, somebody said, well, Cordes Brothers, they're great, they've been around forever. I got no problem with Cordes Brothers. Who wouldn't want 24 years of taxes and public money? It's a gift, not that they're not gonna do anything, but they're still not doing anything over there. So again, you know what's happening across the country. They're cleaning up waste, they're getting rid of people that are unproductive, and they're putting together efficiency. So maybe we should start doing that here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra Simmons. Over the weekend, I did some more investigation, but I do have a quote for you this evening, and it's not from the Bible, I'm not preaching to you, but, patience is crucial in the Christian faith because it demonstrates our trust in God and His timing. As I stated at the last city council meeting, I have been working on this for 1 year, and hopefully this evening it will come to a conclusion. This evening, I have 2 more FOIA requests that I would like to hand over to the city clerk. I am not going to ask your permission. I don't have to. It was just a common courtesy. This is in regards to your resolution number 23-15, ballot language for submission to the state of Michigan for their placement on the February or August 2024 local election ballot for the city electors, Special Assessment District pursuant to the Public Act 33 of 1951. Now, of course, the second one is the exact same thing, but in regards to the county of St. Clair. I have made copies for each and every one of you this evening in regards to your resolution. And this is in regards to the last paragraph of what the city of Algonac sent to receive, I guess, permission to place it on your ballot. As I stated before, the letter F was placed in a regular city council meeting by the city manager. There was no public notice. There was no public hearing. Eileen Tesh filled out a FOIA request when I asked her to. Thank you again, Eileen. Though that information is at my attorney's office up in Fort Gratiot, I will not disclose his name at this point in time. Her FOIA request was denied because it does not exist in regards to the public notice for July 5th meeting of 2023, published in the Voice newspaper or any other newspaper. My very good friend and neighbor, Sheila Jarvie, she used to work at the post office with you. Very lovely lady. She lives across the street. She bakes goodies for my dogs all the time. Just wonderful. She's been a resident here, I do believe, almost all of her life. I too asked her to fill out a FOIA request for the July 5th meeting of 2023. Public notice published in circulation in the proposed district. Her FOIA request was denied because it does not exist. Public notice, public hearing. It's my understanding they are to go together as one with compliance of the law. I have given you, those of you of 2023, 7 opportunities. And I guess we'll just have to settle this out in court. Your city attorney has not responded to any of my comments, which started on September the 3rd. As I stated before, that information was certified mailed from our post office on August the 8th. He received it on August the 9th. I'm very disappointed. very disappointed in all of you of 2023. I never dreamed that 5 years ago, moving to the city of Algonac at the age of 63, and yet here we all are. Patience, trusting God. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to hand these out to each and every one of you, please.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. Thank you.
And now I'm going to hand over the FOIA request to the city clerk. Under the Open Meeting Act of 276 of 1976, 15.266, you have 10 days to comply. Thank you.
Anybody else that would like to speak before the council? Seeing none, city manager report, Mrs. Gerstenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Update on the Algonac Elementary Housing Project. As you know, the project did not receive funding in January. They plan to resubmit to MISTA in April. The Algonac Activity Center / school gym update. We have prepared an Algonac Activity Center fee list, facility rental agreement, facility policies and lease agreement documents. The contractor is fixing holes in the roof right now and constructing temporary walls in the halls to block off access to the north side of the building. They did set a live trap to catch the raccoon that has been living in the ceiling, and I'm happy to say that he has been caught and has been relocated. I don't want to
Hanging
disclose
out.
that.
Hanging out with Lisa's chicken.
You didn't kill the poor guy.
No.
Do,
Well, yeah, live trap.
I do have a question. Do raccoons eat chicken eggs? I'm serious.
Raccoons can kill chickens, yes.
And we have raccoons in Belmont.
Yeah, everyone has raccoons.
Didn't have any where I grew up.
An update on the pool, of course, it's slow due to the weather. The block work has been up. They were installing the leveling plates for the steel columns with the steel work to follow soon after. The dock planks will be ready in the next 2 weeks. The pool heater has been delivered to the site. We're looking to get some new welcome signs to the city of Algonac at our city limits. We're looking to replace the green MDOT signs currently located at the north city limits, Mill Street, Lee Street, Smith Street, and on M29 at the Harbor Club. We've applied for an MDOT permit, so we're waiting to hear back from MDOT. And an update on the Downriver Goodfellows. The Goodfellows received a check for $11,289 from the Lions on February 26th. The Algonac Lions had held a bowling fundraiser for the DRG at the Colony Bowl on December 8th. That's all I have, Mr. Gillis. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Mayor Gillis, if I could, did I see that there's some dirt being removed from Smithfield?
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Mayor Pro Tem Davey, they were trying to remove the dirt and it was frozen for a while, so
But we're,
we're trying.
okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Anything else for Mrs. Gerstenberg? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the regular city council minutes of February 18th, 2025. And that's it.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we're moving on to new business. We've got item 11A is to approve proposal for professional design engineering service for Lions Park Pathway paving. On March 19, 2024, City Council approved submission of grant application for pathway at Lions Field to the Michigan Recreation Passport Fund for construction of an 8-foot wide asphalt walking path around the perimeter of the park. Algonac was awarded $150,000 toward this project on February 3rd, 2025. The total estimated project cost is $230,000, $150,000 from grant, and $80,000 from the city. On February 18, 2025, City Council approved the development project agreement and resolution 2025-02. The next step is to start construction plans and specifications. Construction is expected to begin in the spring of 2026. We have a proposal for design engineering attached. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll approve the proposal for professional design engineering services for Lions Park Pathway paving by HRC in the amount of $14,823 and direct the city manager to sign the proposal on behalf of the city.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? The only thing I'd like to say is I'm very excited to get this thing started.
Yes.
And thank you, Mrs. Gerstenberg, for getting us that $150,000 grant.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 11B is to approve proposal for professional engineering services, additional project administration for the Drinking Water Asset Management Grant, DWAM. On January 3rd, 2022, the city was awarded a DWAM grant for asset managed planning and distribution systems materials inventory in the amount of $455,240 through the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Eagle. Thanks to Hubble, Roth, and Clark for submitting the grant applications on behalf of the city in December 2020. The DWAM grant is helping the cities to develop a water system rehabilitation and repair program. The city's water distribution system contains over 23 miles of 4 to 16-inch water mains and approximately 215 hydrants and 320 valves. Approximately 5% of the system was installed before 1975, and approximately 50% of the system was installed prior to year 2000. The grant was set to expire on January 1st, 2025, but the city requested and Eagle approved an extension through May 1st, 2025. Attached is a proposal outlining the task to be performed to expend the grant money balance of $193,780.76 before May 1st, 2025. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal for professional engineering services, additional project administration for drinking water asset management, DWAM grant extension from Hubble, Roth, and Clark. Direct the city manager to sign the proposal on behalf of the city.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
motion carried.
This next one's a nice one. Item 11C is to approve special event permit for 2025 Music in the Park. The 2025 Music in the Park concert series will take place at Riverfront Park on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. The schedule is as follows: June 5th, Brandon Pavlov; June 12th, Stingray Band; June 19th, The American Ride, Toby Keith Tribute; June 26th, Elvis Tribute, Darren Hagel; July 10th, Meldrum Brothers. Motor City Dogs, a 30-foot service trailer with a complete state-of-the-art kitchen owned by Hartson Island family, will be meeting the catering needs of the community this year. They will have a different menu for each event, anywhere from smash burgers to chili dogs, salads with homemade dressings, grilled cheese with tomatoes, and fresh basil sandwiches with slow roasted meats from Eastern Market. Some really awesome crunchy salty fries and more. Concerts are sponsored by various local businesses and organizations. The city is working with the county to secure the stage for each performance. The permit and all documentation has been received and has been approved by administration pending the certificate of insurance. The safety and security plan has been approved by the St. Clair County Sheriff. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve special event permit for Music in the Park at the Riverfront Park on June 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, and July 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. pending the certificate of insurance.
Support.
I'm gonna ask Chief Doan to step up to the mic, please. As, I don't know if everybody knows, Chief Doan took over the responsibility this year for booking the concerts because with us, Parks and Rec Coordinator in Clay Township retiring. So, Chief, would you give us a little presentation on what's happening this year?
He's like, really? You don't give me this?
But I really wanted to talk about the July 9th to June 19th concert.
Toby
June
Keith.
19th,
Yes.
it's the American Ride Toby Keith tribute. It'll be a great, entertainment for the community. For that evening, we plan to close M29. We hope to have a larger crowd than normal.
Are you saying?
Am I singing?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay then.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, chief, but
Yes, you did.
I just wanted everybody to, it's pretty exciting here, it's gonna be a pretty exciting year, and I wanted to thank you for all the work you put into lining all these concerts out.
Thank you.
Well, that-
Not only just the fire chief, and a pretty face, he's got other talents.
Oh, stop. Next we're gonna like spend $5 and give them a cape or something.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Go
Mike.
ahead, please go ahead.
Okay, are our partners down the street having music in the park also or no? Or we don't know?
Mrs. Kirstenberg, do you have any updates on that?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Actually, I do. Trustee Maureen Bowery contacted me today, and she will be working on putting a schedule together for Clay Township.
I have one more.
Oh,
Would
sure,
you
no,
like to-
no, I didn't
Okay.
know that, I thought you were done.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Hurry up.
Security is very important to me, and I think it's just the line of work I've been in government and all that. I know you're gonna allow handicap parking there, but it really does add another layer of security if we let, now that we have that extra lane, if we let cars park all up and down there. And I hope that would be considered, cause here it's just saying food truck vendors and handicap parking. In my world, we would let anybody park there just because I've seen that Darrell Brooks run through a crowd with his car, and I've seen the news articles in Germany with people driving cars through gatherings of people, and people being hurt or dying. So I'd ask, administration to look into, and I don't know if we need to vote on it or whatever, but I just think it adds a layer of safety without causing any kind of headache to that whole lane that park cars there.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
The only thing that always pops into my head over that is I get a picture in my head of a kid running between two parked cars and not seeing
But
another. But that's just, I'm just saying that pops into my head every time. That
Well,
worries me.
I mean, I'd hate to put you on the spot here. Sheriff King.
Good call.
Well, the fire chief went, I don't know who's next, but you guys should get ready. 'Cause you're gonna go. You know, I'd have to really look at the plan. I think it's important to plan ahead and for stuff like that. If you rely on cars, you can always put a snow fence up to stop the kids from running in between the cars. But we're certainly willing to partner with you guys in any way to make sure we address that concern, because it's always a concern of ours, you know, how much we are involved in the planning of your huge festival down here. I think we should meet ahead of time and figure out maybe a plan. Maybe it is just civilian cars, and if it is a concern of a lot of traffic area, putting snow fence up, because it's so easily put up and down, to avoid the kids from running between the cars, or maybe we look at some other type of barrier, so we don't have a problem with somebody jumping the curb and driving through.
Not to put you on the spot, but in general, like, we have that lane on that side. Like, if we make that into parking, it's gonna slow the traffic down, I believe.
Mhm.
But I would, I think it's something I would like to look into, because I'd like to make the park more accessible to everybody. And just as we're talking about this.
Sure, and I think it's important also to also think about, and obviously we have the fire chief, and no, I'm not gonna pass the buck, don't worry, but, the concern of making sure we have lanes of egress in and out if we have a medical emergency or anything like that, of course, too. But I think it'd be important to, I mean, we've got the blueprint, and not that we're gonna get as in-depth, on every single one of these as we do the Pickle Festival, but we do have ways of figuring out how we can quickly lessen the accessibility of vehicles while still having traffic run through and have emergency access. So I think a simple map sent out to us and working together with DPW and the fire department, I'm sure we can come up with something that works for flow and safety.
Thank you.
And you, I think you know that we're always on board to help. And we talked about it earlier, which is always great. So we certainly come up with a plan to make sure that we can make these things happen, with as less disruption and the most safety as possible.
Hey, we survived the car show and the bridge being closed all at the same time, so.
So can we ask administration to look into that? And
Was everybody on board for administration, looking at parking?
Sure.
One, Mayor,
Yes.
one of the concerns I have is, such as we have to designate as far as being handicapped, so we don't have the situation that we have during fireworks where somebody comes down at 7 o'clock in the morning and parks their cars to save a spot, so that it eliminates possibilities for others, so we need to make it fair and equitable for everyone.
I can see that during the music in the park, you make those certain spots handicap, and then the rest of them not, you know? So that way the closest ones to the stage, so that way if grandma wants to sit in the car and watch the concert.
Maybe set a time.
You have 4, and then they do the rest of them as standard. I can see something.
Mayor Gillis, the permit as proposed right now is that the food trucks and vendors would be utilizing that paved shoulder, and that would be reserved for handicap parking. That's what it says right now.
Right, but I think we wanna look at further parking, is that
Are you guys talking
Further,
parking
so
all
that-
year?
I'm sorry,
Are you guys talking parking all year or just?
Not right
Not right now, but
just
possibly.
for this,
Yeah.
just for this, so that if there's a space there, because only 6 people in handicap cars, you know, we're gonna wanna put your car there too,
Yep.
so that if a maniac decides to run through that crowd, they're gonna wreck your car before they hit anybody,
Yeah, I like it.
you know?
There's a barrier.
It's a barrier,
Yeah,
yes.
cars are
Wendy
barriers.
has something to say, we
Yeah.
can cut
Oh,
it
no,
off.
no, it's totally fine. No, my comment was just about the food truck. Are we only allowed to have one food truck, one vendor at the? I mean, cause I see when they talk about it's the dogs.
We have them at the art fair, it's a really good food truck.
I think.
Oh, no, it's not the fact that it's not a bad food truck, I'm just saying, you know, why just one truck though? We have.
I know that sometimes it's scheduling, is it like a scheduling issue?
Okay.
It's like,
Difficult.
they're hard to get.
Well, I think part of the thing is, if I could just.
You've done it.
If you have more than one, it cuts down on their profits, it's not that big of an event to where you could have multiple food trucks there and everybody makes a profit. So we had one year, we had a couple, but it wasn't financially good for more than one, so then we just went with one. This one here, we had last year too, and they really seem to everybody seems to love them, so I
So
think
this
that's why.
one particular one would be at All Music in the Park?
Yes.
Yes, cause.
Okay.
And speaking of that, they do a phenomenal job, they can feed that whole park efficiently, they have a staff of like 5 or 6 people in there, and it's a state-of-the-art kitchen inside the trailer.
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
They're on top of it.
But,
Oh.
okay, again, it's not about the vendor themselves, I just didn't know if we were only allowed to have one vendor at the music in the park.
Oh, I got what you're saying, you're just a question.
Yeah, nothing against the vendor, I mean, we had a dog there too, and they're good.
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Councilman Bembas is, correct, that is what the problem is we can have more than one vendors, but we have had more, and the vendors don't wanna come back because they don't get enough business, it's not a big enough event.
It makes sense.
And this particular vendor, they live on Harson's Island, and they change their menu, for each music in the park. We can even make special requests if we wanted to. But we could go with other ones, but not really more than one.
Okay, that was just a question, you know, limits or how many, yeah? Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes,
motion carried.
Moving on to item 11D, to approve McBride Manley Services for the amount of $1,297.15. Due to recent changes in Michigan state tax filing rules requiring electronic submissions, the city sought assistance from its accounting firm McBride Manley to file timely and to avoid any potential penalties from the IRS. Can I have a motion, please?
make a motion to approve the invoice from McBride Manley Certified Public Accountants in Marine City in the amount of $1,297.15.
Support. Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback?
Yes.
Councilman Bembas?
Yes.
Councilman Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 11E is to approve the terms of purchase of road salt through My Deal program for the 2025 through 2026 winter season. Each year, the city purchases a large amount of road salt. For the last several years, we've been purchasing salt through My Deal and have found this to be cost effective. My Deal is an extended purchasing program which allows Michigan local units of government to use state contracts to buy goods and services. Local governments benefit directly from reduced costs of goods and services and indirectly by eliminating the time needed to process bids. There are over 400 contracts available to My Deal members. In order to sign the agreement, council must first authorize Joe Vernier as the city's street administrator to formally execute the agreement on behalf of the city. The actual agreement is an online fillable form, which is not possible to print without committing to the deal. Price of the salt will be determined after My Deal goes out to bid with the aggregate quantity of all program participants. Once the agreement is signed, the city is committed to purchase. The estimated 2025-2026 amount needed is 150 tons with a backup of 50 tons. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to authorize DPW foreman Joe Vernier to formally execute an agreement with MI Deal to purchase road salt for the 2025-2026 season.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? The only thing I'm gonna say is, I'm kinda glad we're doing it earlier this year, cause at least it's, like, when we do it in the summer and we have to buy salt, at least now we're still
Yeah, it's
cold.
kinda depressing.
Yeah, we're still cold, so I'm glad we're just getting it out of the way. So, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Melvin?
Yes.
Councilman Scarback?
Yes.
Councilman Bembas?
Yes.
Councilman Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
Yes.
Mayor Gillis?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 11F is to approve installation of water tap at Algonac Activity Center. After the new boilers were installed at the Algonac Activity Center, the DPW turned the water back on after many years of being shut off. Once on, the DPW noticed the water coming from the ground. Duluth Construction was contacted and installed a new 2-inch water tap and directional board, a new water line across the street and into the building. We have an invoice in the amount of $7,260. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve invoice for Duluth Construction in China Township for installation of water tap at Algonac Activity Center in the amount of $7,260.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Just glad that we're just moving forward. So, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Melvin?
Yes.
Councilman Scarback?
Yes.
Councilman Bembas?
Yes.
Councilman Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
Yes.
Mayor Gillis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 11G is to approve DPW fence replacement in the amount of $7,700. $9,000 was budgeted in 2024-2025 to replace fencing at the Department of Public Works. We received the following two quotes: all-around fence for $7,700 and Windsor's fence repair for $8,000. The city has previously worked with all-around fence and is satisfied with their work completed. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve DPW fence replacement and award the contract to All Around Fence in the amount of $7,700.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Yes, I cannot wait to see that ugly fence torn down.
Well, you're right on there, weren't you?
Yeah, every time I drive by, I'm like, damn, that thing's ugly.
She tell us how you really feel.
Well, Councilman Scarbick, you're very passionate.
Oh, that was good.
Anyone else? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Scarback?
Yes.
Councilman Bembas?
Yes.
Councilman Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
Yes.
Mayor Gillis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Melvin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is item 11H, to approve proposal for appraisal of 1027 through 1099 St. Clair River Drive in the amount of $9,000. In May 2024, Benedict Limited LLC filed a petition with the state Michigan Tax Tribunal, docket 24-001519, to reduce the taxable values and state equalized values of tax parcels 01-110-005-101, 01-110-005-110, and 01-110-005-200, known as the shops at Riverwalk at 1027 through 1099 St. Clair River Drive. The Michigan Tax Tribunal is a quasi-judicial administrative court that hears tax appeals for all Michigan state and local taxes. As a result, on the recommendation of city attorney, the city engaged T. Allen Francis with Fletcher, Falco, Shouty, and Francis, PC, to defend the city against the request for a tax appeal. The attorney has recommended the city obtain an appraisal of the property. We have a letter of transmittal for value trends dealing in the terms of the appraisal. Can I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to concur with the recommendation of the attorney and approve the proposal for appraisal of 1027 through 1099 St. Clair River Drive with Value Trends Incorporated, whose address is 43145 West 13 Mile Road in Novi, in the amount of $9,000, and authorize city manager to sign the letter of transmittal on behalf of the city.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Just a question, this is new to me, so I'm just gonna try to bring myself up to speed here. So, the property owner went to the tribunal to ask for a relief in paying property taxes, correct?
Correct.
Did they deny, approve, or, because it sounds like, are we now then going to pay for an appraisal to see what the property is actually worth?
Mrs. Gerstenberg, could you give a brief
Yeah.
presentation on this?
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. Councilwoman Meldrum, so the property owner filed for significant tax relief. And so the city engaged an attorney to dispute that claim. And we counter offered, and they are not responding. So the next step is to get an appraisal. And when you go to the tax tribunal, if you can't work it out before that, they want you to have an appraisal.
Thank you.
If I may, when did we send the counteroffer to them?
The case with the tax tribunal, I believe, was filed in May, and we probably sent of 2024, we probably like October, November, in the fall.
So our lawyers sent it
Yes.
in November.
Yeah, it was in the fall. I can't give you the exact month, I don't remember.
Considering they have a 66% occupancy rate currently, I think this is the best move.
Yeah, cause it was significant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they raised rates when they came in, and that's why they had a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I wanna say is, all of this paperwork, is that gonna be on the city's website in case anybody wants to, cause they're gonna be like, well, you know, they're reading it, what are they reading?
It'll be
This will be on the website for people to see.
You mean the letter?
We'll be having our hands.
It'll be added to the agenda packet that's posted with today's date.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
This is one of those things I feel that we need to do, cause if, this is an out of town company that came in and purchased property in the middle of our downtown, and now they're saying they don't wanna pay the amount of taxes that they knew was being paid when they purchased the property. And you know what? I'm sorry, but you knew it when you came in, and we can't afford to take that kind of tax loss, so I think we need to do what's best for our town, and that's what we're doing, so I agree with this.
What are they asking for as a decrease?
Their hardship, what's their hardship?
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Let's try, I guess I should start off by saying that Benedict Limited, this particular company, has a reputation of purchasing, properties that have Dollar Generals in them, knowing full well that Dollar Generals typically move into standalone buildings. So it's a significant tenant, and they do this a lot in rural communities, but don't have a lot of experience with tax tribunals. So they're like asking for probably like a 70% decrease in taxes.
Which, would you have an idea, a dollar value, how much that would be?
I do not know off the top of my head, I could check it.
But it would be a large dollar value to our city budget. So,
And on top of that, that property is triple net, so what that means is the tenants take care of that. So they're already getting in their rent, at the end of the year, they get a triple net bill, so they already know what the taxes is gonna be. So what they're trying to do is just lower it, so there's more money in their pocket.
Thanks.
Thank you. So good to have a realtor on the board.
Yeah.
Well, I just learned all about that property from a deal, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
motion carried.
Accounts payable.
Make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $245,634.90.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Councilwoman Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
motion carried.
Items for next agenda, Mrs. Gerstenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Gillis. We have the special event permit for a Sunday Easter sunrise service and an extension of the audit services contract and a nice neighbor award.
Council comments? Councilman Memphis.
Not too much going on. I did wanna thank, Mayor Pro Tem Davey for inviting me out to the ARC dinner. What a blast. Good food, good people, good fun, good dancing, good adult beverages. Very nice evening, and I just wanna say thank you. I hope, and I'm sure you'll give us an update, but I hope that you guys did really well.
We did.
Awesome.
That's it?
That's it today.
Wow.
Councilman Carter.
I'd like to, echo in thanking, Councilwoman Davey for the invitation. It was a great night, and it was very eye-opening to be able to see the wonderful things that ARC is doing for people that need it. And, I'd like to thank Sheriff King for coming tonight. We appreciate your support, we appreciate what your department and the Sheriff's Department's doing for us. Congratulations to Mackenzie McDonald, and as it's starting to get a little warmer, tomorrow is supposed to maybe be in the 50s. Be sure and just take a minute and go outside and get some fresh air, it's good for us, but keep your eyes open, because as more people are starting to go outside, that means kids are gonna be running around.
Don't forget your umbrella.
Yeah, it's gonna rain. That's what I have.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to show love. We had a really, really good time this year. Joe was there, he got this like really big poster and everything. It was fun, thank you guys so much for coming. We did really good this year, yeah, and somebody, a few people had said, you know, and I hate to say kids, they're adults, but to me, they're kids, so. Just to see them all dancing and having a great time, it was a lot of fun. To speak to about what Mrs. Tesh had said, I do not want to see this turn into an issue with the school millage. The Brownfield project is a non-issue. To have this keep coming up, to tie that into a school millage that is coming up is not correct in any way, shape, or form. Please understand that. School millages are important. And, you know, I've said it over pine trees, but, you know, please don't base your vote on a school millage for something that's a non-issue.
Dead in the water.
It's done. It's not that it's stalled or being tabled at the county. That's not, it's done. It's not even anything that is going to be discussed at the county. And like I said, we got a school millage coming up. Do not factor in something that is a non-issue into your vote. Please. And that's all I got. No more
No more, one more thing.
No more one more.
Okay. Councilwoman Harris.
So I want to thank everyone for coming, and thank you, Sheriff King. Thank you for stepping up, Chief Joe, for the music in the park. Congratulations to Mackenzie McDonald on Teacher of the Year. And yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Dundee. I had a good time at the art too. Thank you.
Councilwoman Melvin.
Well, I'd just like to say to, Mayor Pro Tem Davey, I think we need a do-over, because I was unable to attend. It
Oh,
sounds like a really good time.
It's an every year thing, and everybody is always warned ahead of time that I'm coming after, so. Except I missed it.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the city manager and the city clerk for doing a fine job.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Councilman Scarbic.
A few things. I wanna thank Sheriff Matt King for coming out tonight, and I wanna thank you for all your deputies that come out. They've been rock stars, and that's definitely noticeable. Also, I wanna thank, Fire Chief Joe Doan for especially taking on the music. The lineup is phenomenal, so that's cool. It's gonna be a good year. Also, I wanna thank, Ms. McKenzie and her family for coming out today, or Ms. McDonald and her family for coming out today. And, on the thing on the chickens, I think it's the right direction to look at. Obviously, we're not all gonna agree on the whole situation, but I think it's definitely worth looking at and checking out a timeline. But we'll see what happens with it, and I think we just keep pushing forward. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
All right. I guess it's up to me now. Thank you, Sheriff King, for coming, as always. You and your team do a great job. We appreciate everything that we receive down here. Congratulations, Ms. McDonald. I know how, I'm looking where she was sitting. She's not there right now.
We're all looking, but you pointed at
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is she there?
And I know how, I mean, I live with a teacher, my wife's a teacher, and I know how hard they work, and to get that recognition, it's quite impressive. Spring is coming. I think it's good, it's really coming. Oh, and there's something I thought about today, and I wanna bring it up to council. So, we took over the VFW monuments in the park. And Milford Jackson was a VFW member. I would think that maybe we could, I don't know how we would do it, we could assign the money that it costs us to take care of the monuments with the flags, and I know the lights aren't working right now, and to get the lights going, and assign that money from the Milford Jackson Fund, because he obviously cared about the veterans. And it, we get 25,000, the monuments probably would only cost us 2,000 to 3,000 a year to maintain. I mean, I don't know.
I love that idea.
I just think it's a good way to live and have his legacy carry on. The veterans used to pay for the monument, now we could have the testament, the trust fund pay for it.
Didn't we mention that when we talked about this?
We kinda talked about it, but then I was just really thinking, like, if we could put a resolution forth, that, or so, I don't know how you would do that.
Cause I think I kinda brought that up when.
Do you want a motion?
Can we do a motion? Well, and then, well, I know, I just, something else I want you to, I actually want, since I'm saying it.
You might as well make the motion.
No, okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can hear. So, also, the garden next to the community museum is in Milford, is in his memory. So, there's a flag there too. I would like to, maybe we pay for the flag, put that on our flag schedule.
Where's the garden at?
It's right next to the community museum.
Who does it now?
The Historical Society.
Well, let them keep doing it,
Well, I'm just saying,
cause then it looks like we're becoming a historical society.
it's still our property. We own the property.
It's their garden, their flag.
We can
But
put
it's
this
in
on
his- but it's in
as
his
an
memory.
agenda item for
Yeah.
the next meeting.
I just thought this
I
is,
agree too.
it's in his memory. So we can, I guess we can discuss that later, with just some ideas that
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what my thought process, I guess we'll discuss it later that day.
No,
If you wanna
yeah,
put
we
on
can't
the
do
agenda
that,
and
yeah.
talk about it.
That is a
Yeah.
new item, new business.
But that falls along what Wendy had brought up at a meeting
Yeah,
about,
a list of
Yeah.
projects.
and so every year we can get a list like this. Yeah. Good job.
That's just a thought process. that's all. Anyways, that's all I have for tonight. Can I have a motion to
It's
adjourn?
your turn, Wendy.
Oh, great, motion to adjourn 7:19.
Second. Aye.
Aye.
Jeez,
We're
guys.
adjourned.
I